So obviously I'm Danny Smith, head of ARU. And I'm Inspector O1. Can you just state your full name and rank, please?
Josh King, and I'm a PC. My call sign is BCC03.
Okay. These questions are to help prepare you for UK policing. The for the Armed Response Unit.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's fine. So I'm not gonna. There's like 10 categories, but I'm not. I'm gonna do a couple out of each. I'm not gonna do like every single question out of each because some of them got like 8 questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be quite a long interview. I
Why do
get
you
that.
want to become an authorised firearms officer with it and work within the armed response unit?
I feel like I've got the maturity to be handling a weapon that's like a firearm. And then obviously, I feel like I'm building myself up to be a good part of the community. I feel like I'm quite responsible in that aspect. And also, there's an issue with MPD where we're outnumbered by a lot of civilians with weapons, and when it's just like me alone or whatever, it's quite hard to handle situations when all I've got is a taser and a baton.
No, no, that's fine. Um, Obviously, this one is going to be good if you can answer it because no one's managed to answer it properly. What do you think will be the most challenging aspect of working within the armed policing?
The most challenging aspect.
Yeah.
Um, that's a tricky question. I'm not surprised people haven't managed to answer that, to be fair. The most challenging aspect of working within. Honestly, I'm not too sure, to be fair. Like, I'm going to be honest with you.
No, no, that's fine. Obviously, these questions on this section is about motivation and role understanding, but it's all good. Um, Trying to find another one what might be a little bit. What do you understand to be the key responsibilities as an armed officer?
Obviously, I'm held to a higher standard than a regular officer, and I need to protect the community, and not only the community, but my other officers' safety comes first. I'm more of there to assist other officers with situations if they're in need, because not every officer can have a weapon.
No, no. This is about uh, judgment now around the
Oh, right, go
job.
ahead.
So
Uh huh.
tell us about a time when you had to make an important decision with limited information and what did you do and what was the outcome?
So, not too long ago, I arrived at a area responding to a drug deal. Cool.
Yeah.
I like drug dealing. Cool. And obviously, I couldn't prove anything at that specific time. But as soon as I pulled up, the vehicle that was the only one around in the area decided to flee speeding. So I pursued the vehicle and detained him after a long pursuit because I had a reasonable suspicion that he was involved in that area. And then obviously he got sent away because my suspicion was correct.
No, no. Tell us a time when you remained calm while other people around you were under pressure.
So this was in a different city that I used to live in because obviously I've not been here too long on the police force,
No,
so I
no.
can't speak for too many experiences. But in another city that I was in when I was on the police force, there was a bank robbery scene, and the suspects were killing hostages, and every police officer was panicking out. So because I was part of the SWAT team in that city, we decided to plan an operation and go in there and save some hostages, the remaining hostages, and take out the suspects.
So this is about de-escalating this section. Which one? Which one would be? Uh, Tell us a time when you communicated. I know that one's going to be useless. Ignore me because it doesn't make sense. I don't know who made these questions. Give us an example of when you successfully infiltrated someone without relying on your authority and position.
Can you explain what infiltrated means?
So, like an
I'm
operation,
dyslexic.
more like an operation. So how did you execute and de-escalate a situation, basically? How did you calm a situation down?
Oh, so how did I basically stop a situation from getting worse? And
Yeah.
sort it out? Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I have trouble understanding some
You're not the only
questions.
one. I do. That's
Yeah.
why some of them I don't ask because they are a little bit weird in how they're put out.
So I think it was yesterday actually. I went down towards Grove Street and there was people wearing white flags and people wearing red flags, and they had, well, they weren't doing anything. They're just fist fighting basically. But when I pulled up on the scene, I pointed my taser at both of them and I said, "Stop it!" They stopped it immediately, and then I separated them and I sent the red flags away back to Mirror Park because I know that's where they're located, and I let the white flags remain there.
Okay. Why is trust important between members of the armed response team?
Well, you're putting a lot of trust into me to allow me to have a weapon, and then you also need to have trust that I'm gonna be able to have your back if we're ever in a situation that's necessary. And then you can also trust that I'll always be there if you ever call me over radio.
No, that's fine. What does teamwork mean to you?
Uh, for this question, it'd be better if I gave an example rather than explained.
Yeah, that's fine. However you want to put it, I'm happy.
Okay, so teamwork, for an example, would be if you were alone dealing with a situation that needed firearms response over there, that you could rely on me to come over and then we'd work together to sort the issue out, rather than you having to handle it single-handedly. Or either if we were going to breach into a building because of a robbery, for example, that we're going to work together to clear the building and have each other's backs.
No, that's fine. We're going to go on to some scenario now. Some of them may seem a little bit weird, but it's whoever written these, how it comes out. You are deployed to an incident involving an individual reporting an individual carrying what they believe is a weapon with information is limited. How do you approach that scene?
Can you repeat from the weapon
So
part because you
obviously,
completely cut out?
the member of the public believe that they're carrying a weapon, but when you
Okay.
ask for more details, the information is very limited and sketchy.
I'm going to approach based on the assumption of what I've been told because that's the information I'm limited to, and I don't want to risk my life or my team's life. And then obviously I'm going to approach with my firearm out and detain the suspect if I can manage to do that. And then we'll search the suspect, and based on the circumstance, we'll explain everything to him and either release him or send him off.
No, that's fine. During a high pressured incident, you become concerned that another officer is not following the SOPs of the firearm division. What is your protocol?
I will go speak to a higher up immediately and notify them, or depending on how bad the scenario is, I'll have a word with the person if it gets to that and pull them aside and say that they have to come back to the station and speak to the higher up about the issue.
No, that's fine. So this is a bit of a weird question. I don't like asking it, but it's one we have to ask. You attend an incident involving a distressed person who may have access to a weapon. Their behaviour appears unsettled and they are known to have certain health crises. How would you proceed?
I would request for backups come because obviously I don't want to be there alone. I'll probably have 2 firearm officers there and some regular officers. I'll have a regular officer go up to negotiate, and me and the firearms officer will be beside them. And we'll find out the cause of what's going on. If the suspect decides to make the situation any worse, then obviously they're going to be tased or potentially shot, but we're always going to definitely try to avoid that if they're mentally ill, because that's definitely not the outcome we want to go for. We'll just try to limit them away from any weapons that they're able to access and talk them out of it, whatever they're trying to do.
Okay, so my last question, obviously, try and answer it in as much detail and as much as you can. due to obviously this is the breaker, one of the breaker questions. Where is it? Where is it?
What do you mean by breaker questions?
So when I mean breaker questions, it's like an answer. It's more of we want as much detail as possible. Basically, not saying that it's breaker you will or won't get the job. It's more we want to see what you can bring and what you can offer. Basically, why should we
Okay.
trust you to be part of the armed response than other people?
Let me just repeat the question back to you because I'm having difficulties hearing you. Did you say why should you trust me to be part of the armed response instead of other people?
Instead of somebody else who's
Oh,
interviewing,
okay.
basically.
Okay, well, I know you're limited on how many spots you can have in the force, so obviously that's a big thing. Secondly, I feel like I've not been in the city on the police force for too long, but I've presented myself good. I've done everything as I should, and I've not really had any issues. I'm not sure about other people's circumstances on that, but they also might be in the same position as me. But I'm very active, I'm reliable, trustworthy. Let me think. I'm always gonna work hard. I handle things professionally. I just try to do my best that I can and be the best version of myself.
No. So thank you for your time with the interview.